Yeah. It's
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. I will take a motion to approve the agenda and minutes. I have a motion, a second, and further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Rich, are you on Zoom?
I am. Good morning.
Morning.
Just a couple of things this morning. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that winter's mostly over, and we still that John Deere motor grader that we're gonna make a decision on whether to purchase. I think we will purchase it, but I want to make sure I get in contact with the salesman first and make sure our ducks are in a row with that. Next week, Jackie, can you put on the DOT budget and program for approval on the agenda for the DOT one? And then just so you guys know too, I'll probably be putting an ad in the paper for an administrative assistant, or not necessarily the paper, but any on advertise for an administrative assistant, and kind of move some people around in the office up there, like I had mentioned last week. Pulling somebody in from, I think I'm pulling in Colton from the shop and bringing him up to the office and having him work with us. He's got, some of the computer stuff that we do up there already with the signing and everything else. Kind of got a good start on understanding how some of the system works in the office. So we'll be moving things around that way, and then probably looking for, we've got some positions to fill yet out in the shops as well. So trying to get some more applications in and looking those over too in the next few weeks. So just kind of a quick update.
You guys got anything for him? Anything else, Rich?
Nope, I'm available by phone and email today, so not a big issue if you need to contact me.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Drainage, I didn't see any claims. Okay. Next up is DD combined drainage ditch on their western edge, DD2, and then DD3 in our county. And discussion possible action on the reclassification except for lateral 8.
So 3 has.
No,
They're doing
just-
it right now. Or no, just lateral 8.
So they're meeting tomorrow. They was having a
Right.
meeting tomorrow for 2. So she sent me an email, said they're reclassifying their 2, which is our split 3. And she said, we don't need to reclassify ours, but ask what we thought. So I reached out to Jacob Bolton, and he says, typically when you do a joint, you do both sides, and when you do it, they're having that Jacobson Westergaard.
Wasn't there work done on that in the last few years?
In 19, you said on lateral 8, that's why that was reclassified.
Oh, on 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
just 8.
Is that?
Otherwise, the rest of it hasn't been.
Probably needs to be done, but.
How far in does it go into Work County? Any idea?
I
How
think-
Perfect. Kind of runs along the western side.
So all the pink is R3, and then the brown is there too.
Kind of west of
And then-
Joyce, isn't it?
This is
Oh, the district.
This is 1-8, so this is the one that was reclassified, yeah,
Oh,
but the rest of it hasn't been.
So
And this is a lot that's shared, and then that is shared.
a lot of it's just the lands.
Right,
Which.
if you got 8,
eight
what's
is-
that then? Silver Lake?
No,
No, Silver Lake's.
it's south of Joyce.
This is
South
this
and
is southwest of Joyce and
Oh,
northwest of Fergus.
Yeah, because the lake is right.
what is that, Richland?
Oh, this is-
Right, right.
Yeah. Up to the 8. Yeah. This was, okay.
And that's the lateral. Which one? Where's 9 or 8?
8 is
So
right.
this
there.
has been reclassified.
Yeah, that actually goes right up to me.
They need to come figure this and this.
Yep.
I don't, it's just, if they're doing the rest of it over there, what's,
Can't be much.
I mean,
Then we'd have it.
even at the end of it, it's, what are we talking, we were $4 an acre, when we don't have a ton, this way, This way it's all joint done all at the same time, I think. I mean, then it's over with.
They're having their board meeting tomorrow to discuss that.
Can somebody be part of that?
I got something going on. Can you be part of it, Mark?
Pretty sure.
I'll get hold of Chris and get exact.
What time is it?
The board supervisors started.
They start at 9. Actually, I may be able to swing over. I got a dentist appointment at 8 for city, and so I'm a block away.
Man,
I'll just swing in.
Yeah.
I should be done over there by 9 o'clock. So,
I'll get a hold of Chris and double check.
Because I think their meetings start at 8:30.
yeah, I think drainage is 9,
Oh, okay.
right?
That's,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they.
So we need a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to have Jacobson Westergaard reclassify that joint drainage district, the Worth County portion.
Is there a second?
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So claims, I know we got claims.
I'll make a motion.
There's a second.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any further discussion on them? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We have payroll eligibility.
Which payroll claims.
You got payroll claims. I skipped over reports. Any reports? Any liquor or cigarette?
you guys don't need to sign anything. It's just, it's come and go.
A motion to approve cigarette license for come and go.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Now.
Yeah, I'll get Chris.
Next on the agenda is resolution 2023-7. Setting a public hearing on the proposed lot sale prices for I-35, Highway 105 interchange. Do you have that resolution?
Yes, and I apologize. I got, it's been my emails. I found it again. And so we're on schedule for August or April 17th. For a public.
Resolution 2023-07, proposal to sell and convey county interests. It is hereby resolved that the Worth County Board of Supervisors proposes to sell and convey the interests of Worth County in the following described real estate to wit. Lots 1 through lot 11 of the top Iowa Second Edition, Worth County, Iowa, for the following prices. Lot 1, $111,033. Lot 2, $141,255. Lot 3, $275,940. Lot 4, $223,380. Lot 5, $262,000, $800,000. Lot 6, $343,000, $242,000. Lot 7, $91,000, $92,270,000. Lot 9, $75,555,000. Lot 10, $78,840,000. $705,000. It is further resolved that a public hearing on the foregoing proposal shall be held at 9 a.m. on April 17, 2023 in the Supervisors Chamber of Worth County Courthouse, north of Iowa, and that notice of hearing shall be published as required by law. Is there a motion to pass this resolution 2023-07?
I'll move to approve the resolution.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Roll call vote, Smeby,
Aye.
Stone.
Aye.
Lowberg, aye. Resolution is adopted. Maybe I ought to sign it. You could. Next, we have resolution 2023 08. And that is authorizing the use of the preliminary official statement in connection with the sale of general obligation urban renewal bonds, series 2023A. Okay,
This is Heidi. How is my audio?
Good.
good.
It's good. Good. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, supervisors. What you have on your agenda today is you've received a resolution from your bond counsel, Dorsey and Whitney, as well as a preliminary official statement document that is on the agenda to be approved. This document is used in connection with the upcoming financing for the roads and bridges projects for the not to exceed $6 million. This document includes all of the details of the financing, as well as pertinent information about the county that will be disseminated out to potential investors. It is a preliminary document and will be updated with the final numbers after the sale. However, it is a document of the counties, and the Board of Supervisors must approve it in order for us to start disseminating it out to potential investors in your bonds.
Okay.
Were there
Resolution. Well, go ahead, Heidi.
Were there any questions? Were there any questions on that document from the board?
No, I didn't have any. Resolution number 2023 08. A resolution authorizing the use of preliminary official statement in connection with the sale of general obligation urban renewal bond series 2023A. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Worth County, Iowa, therefore propose to enter in general obligation of a renewal loan agreement and to issue general obligation bonds in a principal amount not to exceed $6 million pursuant to the provisions of subsection 331, period 441, 2B14, section 331, period 402, section 331, period 442, and chapter 403 of the Code of Iowa for the purposes of paving the cost to the extent of undertaking aspects of the Worth County Road, Bridge, and Culvert Improvement Projects and Urban Renewal Program of the county, which was authorized by action of the Board of Supervisors on October 17, 2022, in lieu of calling an election upon such proposal, has published notice of the proposed action and has held a hearing hereon. And as of March 27, 2023, no petition had been filed with the county asking that the question of entering into a loan agreement be submitted to the registered voters of the county. And whereas a preliminary official statement, the POS, has been prepared to facilitate the sale of the general obligation of renewal bonds series 2023, referred to as the bonds, to be issued in evidence of the county's obligation of the loan agreement. It is now necessary to make provisions for the approval of the POS and to authorize its use by Northland Securities Incorporated, the underwriter, as the underwriter of the issuance of the bonds. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Worth County, Iowa as follows. Section 1, the county auditor is hereby authorized to take such action as shall be deemed necessary and appropriate with the assistance of the underwriter to prepare the POS describing the bonds, provided for the terms and conditions of their sale, and all action there heretofore taken in this regard to hereby ratify and approve. Section 2, the use by the underwriter of the POS relating to the bonds is substantially the form as has been presented to and considered by the Board of Supervisors is hereby approved, and the underwriter is hereby authorized to prepare and use a final official statement for the bonds substantially in the form of the POS, but with such changes herein as are required to conform the same to the terms of the bonds in the resolution. When adopted, providing for the sale and issuance of the bonds, and the county auditor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a final official statement for the bonds if requested. The POS as of its date is deemed final by the county within the meaning of the Rule 15 C2-12 of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Section 3, further action with respect to the loan agreement and the bonds is hereby adjourned to the meeting of the Board of Supervisors scheduled for May 1st, 2023. Section 4, all resolutions or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 5, this resolution shall be in full force and effect immediately upon its adoption and approval as provided by law. I will take a motion to approve resolution number 2023-08. Is there a second?
We'll second it.
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? If not, a roll call vote. Smeby?
Aye.
Stone?
Aye.
Lowberg? Aye. Resolution is adopted. Hey, Jackie, did I sign that last resolution? The one I did before this? Okay. Anything else for us today, Heidi?
I'll just give you kind of a heads up of what's coming up. Next week, I'll be meeting with you to go over a plan of finance and go over all the remaining details of the financing. And then Friday next week, on the 14th, we have a rating call scheduled with S&P to get the rating for the bonds.
Okay. Any questions for Heidi, guys?
Nope.
Thank you, Heidi.
Yep, you bet. Happy April.
You too. Next on the agenda is board appointments. Anybody get eminent domain or NICOG?
I've talked with Tim. He's still working on his council down there to see if somebody will jump on the NICOG board. So
Okay.
we'll hear something real soon from him.
Melissa, are you on with Winworth Betco?
Hi.
Hi.
Senator Grassley will be in Manly tomorrow. And then next week is our executive board meeting here at the office. And then I leave directly after that to go to the summit. That's a 2-day conference. And then we come back to the advisory board meeting, which is in Northwood at the Vikings Activity Center. So I think that's what I have for next week.
Melissa decided to change that to give us access to the activity center to show it off. So
Yeah, I had a good tour.
What's that?
There was a good tour last week
Yes,
or
ma'am.
that I went on it. So it was pretty nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good to let everybody see that, I guess.
Yep. Anything else for Melissa?
I'll try to be there tomorrow.
Okay,
All right. Thank you, Melissa.
you bet.
EMS continued discussion. Did you guys get hold of your mayors?
I got a hold of 3 out of the 4. I've heard back from Fergal yet. Hometown and Joyce said, yep, they do there. Corey unfortunately working that night. So
But could he send somebody from the council?
I suggested that. He did say what it wouldn't, like I said, send him another mail and suggest that. So
Tim from Manly will be there, and they still need to get in touch with John over Grafton. So
Okay.
I'll get more time, but I'd say we got a
City Center representatives. So that is, we're tentatively set it up for the 13th of April at 7 p.m. One at 5:30 for information to find out. Just the more information you get, the better off, the way you can do this thing.
Robert tried to get.
So. Gotcha. Anything else this week on EMS or anything?
No, I've reaching out for those who made that meeting, and then Farm Bureau's got one coming up
Did they set a date?
17th, I thought, but I haven't heard back.
Well, you mean a
I
Farm
know,
Bureau
I see.
meeting or what?
He asked if we could have another meeting and I said, what? Can.
With all the township trustees and us.
Yeah, they
On
were
the
gonna bring it
17th.
up.
Tax guy, yeah, text me about.
But yeah, I didn't get a definite was set up.
Right, I guess I haven't heard confirmation, but that's. I know they're reaching out to try to do one on the 17th.
With with all of the
With
trustees.
all the township trustees and us.
I don't know what.
Yeah, because the,
They were trying to get invitations set out to all the township trustees, I guess was the harder part. to
More
get
like
hold of.
Put it down.
Playing with forums and it needs to be posted and all that good stuff, because I know there was a meeting yesterday. But there were forums there and there wasn't anything done.
yeah, it kind of surprised me because I got a call and said, what's this meeting in Kansas all about? And I said, I don't even know there's a meeting.
Yeah,
What's that?
Was there a meeting yesterday?
I guess Jeff Hyken had called a meeting and asked all the trustees and trustee clerks in. So,
Yeah, they're messing with chapter 21.
It's still at the post.
And it needs to be known, yeah, it needs to be known to the public that the public can attend too, because the meeting tonight, there are people that I heard from that, oh, you can go to that. I'm like, yeah, you can go to.
It's supposed to be.
but that one's posted.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
these two doors, unless somebody tells you about it, nobody's gonna know anything.
That's all it's legally required. for.
You know?
I did have a long conversation again with Thomas from Fort City.
Okay.
On how that was going over there because, originally I had voted and we all had said that it was an essential service. You never did agree with how we should tax for it, which I was against anyway, but I wanted the Worth County citizens to have input into it and see what they thought. But the more we think about this, with it being a countywide ambulance located out against it, our whole western edge it's just not fair at all. I mean, they're paying for an ambulance service that they're now going to get out of Winnebago, which is that's the way it is all along. They're helping donate to this thing over here.
Well,
And that's not fair.
Stayed.
And that's, yeah. So that's why I think it's getting to be more and more. This is a city and a township trustee, just like fire is. They need to decide what they want to do by city and township.
That's why they all need to be included.
That's why I think we ought to have these, why we're having these meetings. So yeah, if they want to get all the trustees together with a financial guru or however he's going to figure it out, I think that's
You're
great.
right.
But
They need to be posted.
Those kind of people too. Because it's a
Well-
division that you have.
yeah. And see, I'm to the point anymore where I think it's back in the lap of the cities and the trustees.
Well, it is, and if we don't bring it back, get it brought back up, it's gonna be just as rushed as it was a year ago. So
Yep.
Right, and that's what I've kind of put out to people I've been talking with is, I don't foresee it going this year. It's.
Well, you
we
did
need
your
to-
due diligence a year ago, and now you're back to it.
Right, it needs to be. Things kind of need to slow down a little bit and don't cram it in. So,
Yeah.
but, I guess if. Citizens bring it to us, I guess we have to. Discuss with them whether it would go back on the ballot. There's still that entire new process, we have to start that over.
You just can't be throwing on the bill. Because they want them.
You'd mentioned at the Farm Bureau meeting that with the $40,000, those 4 townships over there, you'd mentioned that you didn't, I thought you said, you're quite a ways away from me there. You said you should have, those townships shouldn't have any trouble coming up with their share of
I would
$10,000
assume-
per township roughly.
Yeah, you'd have to do the math, but I mean, I would assume it wouldn't be that extreme for that amount of money, and it could be expanded. Sure. But
And didn't you mention that if we were going to put an ambulance in Kensett as a countywide ambulance, we're looking at about 530,000?
Yeah, 520.
And now that Northwood, and this is all before Northwood decided to be an ambulance service. And if Northwood takes the town of Northwood out of the equation and maybe some townships, will there be enough money generated in the other townships to even come up with a $530,000? Won't even come close, because you mentioned at the meeting here, 6-8 months ago, that you weren't sure that the 530 was enough.
That would be push. It'd be a tight budget.
And that's just a 1-year estimate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we tried to build that in. Did this.
Yeah,
That's why I think it's going more towards the cities and townships all along.
well,
They need to figure out what they want to do, where they want to go with it, and then figure out what they need. They need to do their own contracting.
it's instead of it being a countywide thing where everybody's involved, it's now just gonna be split up. three different ways and that's just the way it's gonna be, I guess.
And it was already split two ways anyway.
Yep.
So now we just got three ways of splitting it, so. But yeah, we all need everybody needs an ambulance, we just gotta figure out how it's being done.
No,
There's no two ways about it, but
it's something you have to face, just not locally, but nationwide, they're struggling,
Yep.
especially rural type communities.
Yeah.
Rural type counties, which we are fairly rural, fairly small, and the expense is still there regardless, so
Mhm.
we're gonna have to figure out what's fair, what's right.
right,
Gotta have coverage. So,
Yeah,
so. But yeah, I had a long talk with Thomas again over at Winnebago, because I know people don't totally agree with that system either. But when I look at the cost and the way the system's being done and the way they're running the thing, you know, basically, they got a township that has roughly, you know, about what, 3,000 more population. And they sit with 4 units in Forest City, 2 in Lake Mills and 1 in Buffalo Center. They got 7 units.
Does
We don't-
Thomas-
What's that?
does Thomas,
Yes,
because that needs to. happen too.
yep. Yep, he's been in contact with, well, I know he's talked to Blake.
But like an actual meeting.
Oh,
he was-
no, and that's something that we need to, well,
That's the Farm Bureau.
yeah, his rep, Thomas didn't make it to Farm Bureau, but Joe did, the paramedic.
yeah, last fall, he was at the Joyce town hall meeting. They both were discussing those people.
So, yeah, I just think we're gonna end up splitting, instead of being split into 2, we're probably gonna end up splitting into 3, and then we need to figure out, the cities and the townships need to figure out how they're gonna do it. So, but that's my input on it. I am going to that meeting tonight, so
Yeah, I'll try to go to
the 7 o'clock one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Brookfield is, hence are invited to those. I think it's Deer Creek, Grove and Heartland at 5:30, and at 7, it's Barton, Kensett and Brookfield. So. Okay. Chris was here last week. I don't even, Chris isn't even on, is he?
Nope.
And
You
he's,
know, he
no,
wouldn't be-
Yeah.
right, but I thought if there was a problem out there, he might zoom in. And that, so if he's not on, then other than once a month, that's good.
Usually, yes.
Department head discussions, anything?
Don't have anything right on.
Okay. Supervisors weekly reports. I didn't have anything going on this week, but I did have an individual from Silver Lake Township come to me, and he said now that this Wheelerwood from Highway 105 to the Minnesota border is so nice, he sees more and more traffic on that. And he's concerned about, do you remember where the old Silver Lake store used to be?
Oh, yeah.
He's concerned about he thinks it's kind of a, what would you say, an eyesore, and it needs to get cleaned up a little bit in that one corner.
Silver Lake store is gone.
Right, but he doesn't say this.
Those are-
I'm just trying to reference the area.
I know.
He's talking about the area, so,
Okay.
and I know we've talked about the one south of me, and he brought that one up also, down on the corner at. And I don't know, you know, that's, I know it got brought up the last time. Did anybody go talk to him?
Oh, the dump there.
Yeah, well, down on the end of John Quill, down at the end there with all the trucks and everything, and at that time, he put up a fence.
It's been discussed, you know, we had the issue down there mainly with that guy and with that problems, and you know, it is in a zoned area. Reeves talked to Jeff about it, I believe. He said, I don't disagree, but
That's kind of what I told him, so I said, I'll bring it to the board's attention.
I know what you're talking about.
There's a couple areas that aren't, and like, man, there's other areas in the county
Oh,
too,
yeah.
so.
It just gets to be a long, drawn out fight that we don't seem to win.
And we pay for it.
Yeah,
We pay
there's
for
there's
it.
an expense to it.
And I don't mean we shouldn't pursue things like that either.
So, yeah. And I know at that time, he did put up that colored fence, so that really made an improvement down there, but. All right, other than that, that's all I had.
I didn't have anything last week.
I had public health on Friday, got all our hires there, they're all starting in, they're all starting to work, so. So that's good that way, we discussed and improved the sliding scale for how they pay, how people pay and. Where they'll pay. So the budget. He's right on track for most things, which is good, so. Short meeting.
Okay. Next week's agendas, items.
I'm trying to get it all packed in there, so I don't know when this is. So we'll have to add the April 13th meeting when that gets set in stone, April 17th, if I hear about that one.
Yep.
Well, isn't the April 13th one already set in stone? Do we have
Yeah.
to have a motion on that?
No.
No.
We'll do the April 13th.
Agenda, what do you want?
We should have something.
Anything you guys want to talk about on the agenda?
Basically, the EMS stuff.
Now they want to pay for it? and-
How they want, or what we need to be doing, I mean, what else they.
Okay. We just need to have a discussion.
That's
So. Yeah, I didn't see, other than Grassley tomorrow. And you're gonna take care of the DD drainage stuff, so, oh, and then we do have that meeting on the 6th here. So,
Yes.
Par-
Yeah.
yeah, Peregrine,
Yes. All that and,
We got the phone call.
phone call too. That's earlier.
oh, that's early in the day, yeah.
That's the 10th. No, not the 10th, whatever Friday is.
Did you guys ever get an invitation to that trip?
No, I didn't.
How much?
On the 14th, you have to read.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I did.
You have a postcard?
Yeah, I got a postcard on on
The
Friday.
6th is still over too, isn't it? The 6th with Renee.
I like it noon or one, whatever it is. Yeah.
in noon.
I know I got it on my calendar, so.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if there isn't anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Okay, whoops.
We'll leave this link open for the informational meeting for the drainage.
Okay, there's another meeting following.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye,
You start. Okay.
You did, I think.
yeah. Mark made the motion and
Okay.
Or-
I think you did.
I think, okay, AJ made the motion. Mark seconded. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. And this is the second informational meeting on DD6 lateral 9. First thing we're going to deal with is the bids that came back. We sent out bids to different construction people, and it asked for cleaning approximately about 500 feet of ditch, which about 2,900 feet of it is trees and DD. What'd I say?
5,000, you said 500.
Oh, sorry about that. 5,000 feet of ditch, where approximately 2,900 feet of that is trees and DD6 lateral 9. They were all the same as far as disposal of the trees and the brush are the responsibility of the contractor, and he needs to provide insurance. And the completion date is December 1st of 23. The first bid we got back was from A1 Excavating and Drainage, which is Elliot Evans out of Joyce, Iowa. We asked for two different estimates. Estimate one is for tree removal only, approximately 2,900 feet. And that bid was $15,000. And that was to chainsaw off the trees, leaving the stumps, and then pile and burn the trees. Estimate number two is for tree stump removal, reshaping the bank and seeding approximately 5,000 feet. That bid was $39,250. And that was to bury the stumps on top of the bank after the trees are burned up, but it does not include riprap if it's needed. The only other comments that he made down here is the contractor is not responsible for crop damage. He gets to choose what side to put the trees on and the spoil, and he's going to only seed the side banks if needed. And that was the A1 Excavating and Drainage. The other bid we got was from Rugness Brothers Excavating. They did not put in a bid on estimate 1 for tree removal only, but they did put in a bid on estimate 2, which was the tree stump removal, reshaping the bank and the seeding approximately 5,000 feet. That bid was $98,750. He also broke it down a little bit more. And on the backside of that $98,750 bid, the clearing and the grubbing of the trees was $76,850. And then he's got cleaning and bank reshaping for 2 sides at $9,100, or if you just want to do one side, it's $6,600. And seeding both sides of the ditch was $1,690, and seeding of the ditch on one side was $3,600. I don't know why that's all.
I think part of the ditch,
I
where the trees are at, you're probably cleaning both sides.
Yep.
And
Right.
then where he's just cleaning the ditch, there's probably just some reseeding on one side of the ditch. That's why he's separating it. So he's not actually reseeding both sides all the way. But it's kind of moot at this point. So
Yep, and then mobilization of 910, but his bid comes to $98,750. We need any comments from you guys as far as we need information from you so we can make a call on what you'd like to do as far as which bid to accept, who you want to do it. And this is just it
Just that-
comes off 475th Street and it goes up and goes around the curves, and that's mostly the trees. And then they wanted it clean from there over to the ditch. So it's just lateral with that.
yeah, whatever. Yep.
Well, yeah, well, that's the next thing we're going to talk about.
Well,
It, right now, it gets assessed to everybody. And that's the second part of this, because AJ had brought up at the last meeting, according to the minutes, he asked if you guys wanted to do reclassification and annexation while we're at this. That would involve an engineer to do that, but, and then you also had mentioned in the minutes that you thought that there was that the ditch is not there. You've thought that there's a lot of people that are not paying in on it. It goes all the way down to Highway 105. And that's the stuff that a engineer is going to look at as who benefits off of this thing. There might be some property annexed into it that's getting drainage that now is not paying for it. And then they do a reclassification depending on where you lay as far as proximity to the ditch, how beneficial it is to you, and that kind of stuff. So there's kind of 2 things we need to find out about. If you want us to involve an engineer, we can still do the cleaning of this ditch right now on our own. But if you want annexation and reclassification, we have to get an engineer involved. And what roughly does
But
any
it would be on the existing schedule if you don't reclaim.
right? It would be the old schedule where it's divided equally according to the amount of property that you have in that drainage ditch district, in the district. Yeah.
How much land?
That's,
I-
we don't know. That's where the engineers come in and they use topographical maps to see which way this water flows on top. And they find out if there's people that are actually moving water that direction that's never been in the drainage district, right, guys?
There's been some we've taken land out, there's some we've put land in, kind of a mixed match of with other districts, but it gets everybody to the current date of what is actually going into that system, because a lot of the stuff that we see hasn't been touched since 50s, sometimes the 20s, stuff that's never been reclassified over the years. So, and as we all know, tiling and that's a big practice now. It's changed over the last 50 years for sure. Mhm. Do they get that? Yeah, they'll, I mean, and they'll go out and actually do some surveying on it. And also, I mean, if you guys have got tile maps on this stuff and can provide that information, that just makes it a lot easier for them to say, you know, this piece does go here, because sometimes you may have went the other direction and you go out of it. So that always helps if there's tile maps that, you know, the farmers have to put towards this, because then they know where the water's going for sure. Did you say that was $5?
That'd probably be on the high side. I'm getting. I don't think we've ever had one.
If it was $5.
Totally.
Any idea how many acres this one is?
You know, that's an average cost. It wouldn't-
Well, and we won't know that. And we won't know what, I mean, it would just be a guesstimate.
It's just a
We don't-
guess.
Right.
We don't know the reclassification.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be able to know or be able to say what your cost is gonna be because of that.
This overall. Price, but then it's $5.
This total project, we have,
I think she might be going to look.
she might be going to look.
Acres, total acres rented
Get
out.
total acres. I'd give you a close on total cost.
This is still an estimate.
Well,
We won't know until we get a bill from them after they do the project. During, during.
Saves a lot.
So, but it had brought to our attention that there was, somebody had made the comment that they thought there was land benefiting all the way down to 105 on this that were never, that's never been in the drainage district. So, and I don't know whether there is or not. That's a engineer's decision. Right.
you guys.
I think it's fair.
Where it's good to have the current classification. So, you don't have it reclassified. It's hard to get preliminary estimate, hard to do. You almost end up reclassifying it before you do. There's counties that have gone ahead and just reclassified the whole county, so they're done. But we've just been kind of doing it as a project pop up here. Questions come up. But to be honest, these districts are pretty out of it. We've got quite a few of them down there. And it's gotten cheaper, thankfully. I can't, I mean, I'd say from 2 to 4. But yeah, it's gotten way better. Pretty gosh.
They can do a lot of it on computer, but they do some site surveying and then that kind of stuff.
Comes in handy. It's like they tell you you're in that district and you say, no, I've never drained in that district. I want that way. Not get the maps through this. And at that side, you bring those maps in. Help yourself out. You're gonna get added somewhere. You're gonna pay it regardless. You're right. So.
But you should.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike, you have a question?
Yeah, forgot what you gonna ask now. When you reclassify, didn't you say that with the, like if it was done on the west side, east side, whatever, on a lateral, not the main, everybody gets paid, right?
Right. Yep.
But on the laterals, it's gonna kind of stay either
It would stay in
left or
there.
right or whatever.
If you're on a lateral and a lateral only, then the work's done on that lateral, then the people on that lateral pay.
And everybody else.
Right. If this lateral gets cleaned and you're over here at this lateral, these people are paying for you. If the main gets cleaned, you're gonna pay your portion being up here because you connect to it, but yeah, so if it sticks with a lateral, then the people that utilize that lateral.
We can isolate it.
Yeah,
It's just a more fair way of doing it,
it does.
I think, anyway.
Puts the right dollar amount to the right acres of what advantages you get from the system.
Good example is this one down south of Joyce. I mean, it's a 3,000 acre district that somebody wanted a new main put in. And it's being reclassified. I mean, it's a almost $5 million main put in. And the district is probably going to reject. It's pretty expensive. But this gives you that opportunity that you go forward. Kind of know. For mean, it's still money, I get it, but it's relatively, it is fairly. It'll definitely benefit you going forward.
But we wanted your input on it because it does involve getting the engineer involved. So.
Yeah. For what's not.
I don't know. It depends on if they find land that's benefiting from it that's not in the district and we need to add that into it. And that was what was brought up at that meeting. They thought there was guys down south towards Highway 105.
Which they wouldn't pay.
No, and they wouldn't pay into this anyway. It's just whether you want to do that or not, because we don't have to.
Does there need to be a public meeting to go forward with reclassifying?
I don't believe it. I think us as trustees can just do it. But we always reach out to you guys first to have these discussions.
Who's current that I got?
Yeah.
Well, in the minutes of the last meeting, it was brought up at the,
At the first.
you guys were asked if you were interested in it, and everybody was in agreement at that time to do it. But because it involves an engineer, we decided to.
They would be notified. If we said.
Yep.
Which there's no action taken.
We're getting back to that.
Yeah.
Last time, we decided to remove the stones.
The bids was kind of both ways. I mean, just to see so that you'd have an. Greg, you're right. I think they should be.
And that's the 39,000.
That's the second part of these estimates. It says tree stump removal. Yeah, and they're gonna, like the A1 excavating says right in here, he's gonna bury the stumps on top of the bank after the trees are burned up. So, yeah, that is.
More than likely.
There's no compensation for.
He's not responsible for the compensation, but
Or, I mean, we're gonna want to get it done before crops because we don't want to pay crop damage. We'd have to pay crop damage if you had it planted. But we're trying to avoid that.
it's gonna be a big one.
Right.
Because we kind of put out a December deadline, so that way. they didn't
Right.
before the-
Well, he's
It'll still
talking,
be crop.
he's
damage.
talking
Doesn't
compaction,
matter.
effects of compaction and that stuff.
So. Not saying I'm really good for, it, but if you take, you know. We can be careful. But you can-
Right.
Two estimates here, if he cuts the trees down and carries the stumps, it's 15,000 plus.
No, it's one or the other.
Okay.
If you just want your trees removed only, cut down and then leaving the stumps and then just pile and burn the trees, that's the bid of 15,000. The second bid that's when you take the trees, you take the stumps out, you burn the trees, you bury the stumps up on the bank. That's what that is. So it's either that in that comparison, it's either $98,750 from Jerry or $39,250 from A1. If you just want to cut the trees down, leave those stumps and then pile and burn the trees, that's 15,000 through. But that's only through Joyce. Jerry didn't put a bid in on that.
Yeah, we need to get clarification on that from him. Because I would assume that's what you're asking. I think it's a total of two done.
His bid includes removing tree.
Right.
Oh, you mean from A1?
Yeah, Jerry's looked, he just had a total bid. Yeah, he's not even putting in the cutting aspect of it, he's just doing a total bid. So I think what the deal is here, I'm just, we can clarify.
Maybe I'm reading it
before we
wrong.
do the action, was he's gonna 15,000 to cut them off, burn. An additional 39,250 to get the stumps out.
Well, that's 54,000.
Yeah,
That's my. that's
I didn't
my
read it that
assumption
way.
on it. And
That's
we
what I
can,
wasn't-
good point to
we
bring
can
up.
clarify that first with him. Before we,
Job.
what was that?
As part of the job that gets done, that all the branches, debris, the bushes, it's all removed. And
Burn it.
Burnt, yep.
Because that section with all the trees will get completely cleaned out and reshaped. And then beyond that, will just get cleaned out. Around the corner to the next gravel road there.
When Bruce brought up, there's an easement of 50 feet. Out from that from the center.
That's from the center of the ditch on each side.
So is there?
Yeah, that's where
Oh,
So
reclassification.
that's where reclassification, sometimes there is and
Yeah.
sometimes there isn't.
that's where
Sometimes there isn't
reclassification
right
comes
of
in.
We've had to buy right away on some reclassifications here in the last year or two.
Well, you said in the
It's done.
50s or 60s originally.
But if there's not, then the district will have to.
Not
buy
if it's in 50s and 60s.
right
Yeah,
away.
right.
Because we had to do that on a different district here last year, the year before, on a project. There wasn't right away. It never got put in there when the district was made back in the 50s or whatever. And we ended up having to buy it. And usually that's 100 foot, so 50 foot from the center of the ditch each way.
That's not a lot of space. The
Right.
ditch takes up.
Usually, yeah.
So it's about.
Unless they're wide enough ditch or.
I mean, that's a, you don't have a hard time standing.
Which
I don't do that kind of work, so I don't know.
generally when there's family district project, it's paid. That's
Yeah.
why we approved those beginning of the year,
Except for fence.
except for.
Yeah.
fences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real easy to get outside.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
Project, so
Yeah.
just down to what they do.
Yeah.
Everybody, you say that everybody wants this deal.
Yeah.
But then they get outside of it. On certain farms, well, there's a compensation to people that. To the people that have the farm, it's where they're outside 50 feet.
It becomes part of the total project,
Yeah.
and if there's
They-
another
they-
$5,000 of crop
Classified.
damage, it's,
We're gonna pay you something for some damages outside of the 50 feet.
if we'd had an engineer involved in
It
part of
gets
the
that
project, there would be
If you- Whatever.
And that's why that's why it comes up and they do reclassify.
no matter who.
Yeah, we
It's pretty good amount.
yeah, because that's actually, we moved them up because
Yeah,
they were
it's a
higher.
price.
The prices were higher, so this year is actually. But we do it annually, so we're, obviously it could change throughout that year, but we're set, so. For this year.
Well, we have- we have fun.
Yep.
Well, it's tougher.
Right,
I don't know. You're in the farm.
that's something I don't think we factor like you would on a pipeline or,
Like they pipeline.
yeah,
They pay
that's
for 3 years.
right.
They pay pretty good.
We pay for
They got a lot.
that. Yeah, truthfully, you guys.
It's not as much as folks tell me. Who's responsible for keeping the trees from coming back?
So going forward, and that's another reason this probably did come up. It was on the spray schedule, and one of the comments was those trees were too big to spray. So we do portions of the county every year now, and like the one south of Joyce there, he wanted to wait a year before he comes in and sprays the stumps and things like that. But so we do have a guy that comes around on a basis, which you'll get assessed for going forward. We try to stay ahead of that. Something in the past.
They say it's for killing the trees.
Right. Then they just. So if we can get them cleaned up and then going forward. That'll be on probably every 3 to 4.
Every 3 years it has been that project.
Should be.
It's
There might
rolled
not be
around.
much, so
How about the lateral? For lateral?
well, it'd be nice if they were, but no.
No, it's just become a thing where to avoid these large projects, we get everybody on a schedule and hopefully keep it up so the trees don't get that big, because a lot of people are good with that. They take care of their acreage or their acres and they cut the trees they remove before they get big. Some people don't. We got a lot of absentee landowners that don't really care. They just want their rent check. So that's why this program, I think, got started, just so that it prevents it from getting out of control in the future.
On Jerry's proposal, up at the top, it says, approved a petition to clean roughly 5,000 feet of ditch and approximately 2,800 feet of trees. But then down where it's listed, estimate number 2 on the front, it doesn't say anything about cleaning. It just says reshaping the bank and seeding. I guess I'm wondering what is the benefit of going to 5,000 feet versus the 2,900?
Just taking the trees out.
Yeah, I've got drone video of the ditch all the way around our property, going all the way from the start on 475 all the way around the loop till it exits 475. And the only area that really seems to be of concern is the tree area. The rest of the ditch, the banks are basically clear. And, you know, there's drainage all the way flowing. It seems like
So I think it was.
Well,
I mean,
somebody brought
was
it up.
Jerry Rugnes that brought up cleaning at 5,000 feet, wasn't
If he said, if you're gonna go up around that curve, he said, I'd like to go all the way to the ditch over here
it? Reshape.
and
the
make,
sides,
yeah, and clean it out.
Dip it and reshape the sides, I think.
Yeah.
Somebody in that first meeting, I had
Jerry, for sure.
but I guess I've got footage, you can see that the banks seem like they're
and we could stop there. We don't have to.
fine.
We can just do the 2,900 feet of trees.
They're totally seeded. I don't know that it's necessary to reshape the bank when it looks like it's
Flowing and
always always been.
Our intention was just to clean the bottom out basically of any sediment. I don't think we had the intentions of reshaping
Right.
the entire thing because it doesn't, we didn't need it.
well, if you're dipping the bottom, you're gonna pull your sides.
Pull one side probably. That's
one
something
side,
separate.
not circles.
Undoubtedly, somebody at that meeting
'Cause it
must
is.
have thought it was beneficial.
Jerry.
Jerry.
Was
did.
it Jerry that
Jerry.
brought it up? Okay.
I guess the only thing I could see would be when trees are taken out, there's gonna be sediment that ends up, you know, traveling a certain distance, but
I mean, I'd say it's, you guys want the trees out of the bank, so you just want to leave the stumps and, I mean, that's.
if you're gonna take the trees, take the stumps and get it. They can take care of it.
Yep.
I guess the question is, do you want just that approximately 2,900 feet done, or do you want to go all the way with the cleaning out? That's up to you guys. We don't, that's all.
I guess too, on the, you know, second page. He has the 2,900 feet listed there, but I don't see anything as far as that extra 2,100 feet. As far as 21. No one doing. We've got 2,900 feet. Then
Yeah,
That's just trees.
Yeah, piece
that's a little confusing.
of his total bid of 98,750, just the trees are 76,850. I would imagine the rest of the
Yeah,
going over and cleaning the ditch is part of what the rest of that is down below.
about the other 17,000.
And
only got. Yeah. When you kind of look at it. And shaping the ditch on two sides is 91. Meaning the bank shaping a ditch on one side is 56. So we really is total bid, is, you know.
No,
Yeah.
basically, it's, you gotta take the 76,850 and then add in whether you want to do both sides of the ditch or one side of the ditch and want to seed both sides or one side. I didn't put a calculator to it, but I would guess that it looks like it's all added up. So yeah, the bid ain't, we need to clarify that first. And
The addition. Yep.
and we need to clarify the one at A1 too, is like what you brought up. If that's if we've got to add those two figures together or take it for what it is on the paper where you got two estimates. With two different ways of doing it.
If you don't take the stumps out, you still got the pump.
Yeah, well,
At some point in time, you guys might not be here, but somebody else will be, and then what kind of the surety would you have? That, yeah, you cut the tree off, the basic trunk part of the tree probably won't grow again. You know what happens to it. Down to the bottom, some little roots start growing up along the side, and pretty soon you got more trees growing up, even though you spray it. And then it leads into how do you re-sow the bank of the ditch with the stumps, and these aren't little tiny stumps, these are big stumps. And how do you ever reshape the ditch bank at either side or both sides or whatever?
With those
So
stumps.
you're prolonging it, and you just spend it in the future, it'll probably get a higher price, not cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know. All those things that are into this don't pay.
yeah,
Oh, definitely.
That's
That's why we're asking you. What you guys think.
Stumps. Take the stumps out, you gotta really reshape it because you're gonna have some big holes
yeah.
in the slope of the ditch.
At least we should.
Yeah, it's just the one thing leads to the next here.
So to do it right, do it right, they all need to go and.
Oh, do you want to just keep it to that section? No problem.
We can just do the trees and.
You just want to do that
At that
2,900
point,
feet?
Stop.
Yeah, you want the stones. I mean, you're the ones that could probably affected by. More likely. Drainage problem. Yeah. But,
On the upper side of this, has anybody ever put in a complaint about their drainage is not effective?
no.
Well, there you go. Well, then maybe it could be just like 2,900 feet.
Yeah.
If you don't have any complaints about somebody on the upper end complaining about I have slow drainage, poor drainage, or have inadequate drainage,
It
whatever,
doesn't rain for 3
whatever you want to call it. Does it make sense to just do the 2,900?
I mean, I'm glad somebody wants these out before we start having bigger problems. It's like. Then it kind of almost becomes up with our, we got to hire an engineer and go on. It's kind of being proactive, I guess, in you guys' part and.
Nice to stay away.
We're under the threshold. so
That's what we
keep it
asked.
Cheap as possible, so. But if you guys just wanna do that section of trees, we can just do that section of trees and. Leave it at that, and then if there is issues with siltation above it, we can worry about that down the road, that's a not as expensive portion.
Distribute.
Of it.
So once you move, it's the hope you get into the water. You got something disturbed.
And it's tough, like this time of year, it's tough because now we get heavy rains, and if we don't have vegetation. It's tough to get it in there to hold the banks up, and you're probably going back and fixing some stuff.
So even if Elliot's too big to the pole. Took first figure there. So it's- And it's totally, if you guys have a preference, who you want, so do good or better or whatever.
Or anything that gets done with this thing, gotta believe, I know it is, they're gonna sign a contract.
Yep.
And they have to adhere, whoever the bid is, they have to adhere to the terms and conditions of that contract and not be able to slide out of something and whatever. I'm not saying they're going to, but I've been around things that
slid by, and that's not the way it's supposed to work.
That's hopefully the benefit of having some local contractors is.
Well, it is, but they need to adhere to the terms and conditions of the written contract that they signed.
Yep.
For the benefit of the trustees of the county
Mhm.
and the landowners.
So the general consensus is do the 2,900 feet of trees.
And then we can wait and see if anything changes up above that. Like say ditch cleaning is not as a heavy portion, you just gotta go on and clean it out and do a little shading. But like, Mike said too, once you get that moved, it's gonna be, tough to get vegetation back, especially right now in spring with heavy rain too.
But we hope it gets out there.
Right. We need some rain, right, but. So,
And as far as the two contractors go, you guys don't care. We just need to go back in then and have. We gotta get some more information from the contractors on these bids.
To get the cost nailed down.
Yep. As what's gonna get done, what's not gonna get done, and of course, like in Jerry's. That's the whole 5,000 feet, so now we go back. And say, now we're just doing 2,900 feet, so basically we need, a different.
Well, I don't think it is. I think he's got it broke down if you read it right. His top figure is just doing tree removal.
The trustees have to rewrite the contract. We're coming. Do you have to change it in any way, shape or form than the one you have right now? Or because obviously you put out a bid that and there were some terms and conditions in the bid.
We just
have to act on it here next meeting first and put the terms in there.
Yeah, well, let's do that. And you should let both contractors see that, say, hey, here's our final. Is there anything else we need to adjust or change and get that draft down to exactly the way the trustees want it and the landowners and the contractor, where you all agree exactly what it is when they sign that contract.
I agree with you. That's why we need some clarification on. I'm not reading them the same way you are. So. I didn't read it that way. So. Yeah, we need clarification on these buttons. But. We're going back to the 2,900 feet, so.
The way I read Elliot's. That's the one is free. Two is free and some.
Yeah, that's the way I read it too. That's the way I read it, but
It's kind of confusing. So
that was a good point you brought up. Is it?
On top of the banks after the trees are cut.
No,
So that's where I'm on.
Then the reading.
He's gonna cut the trees off from, and then dig the stumps. Which I would think he would want to dig and push stumps. I mean,
take the
be
tree.
easier to get the whole tree than to actually cut them, but.
It's dangerous too.
But it could be confused. You're
Cutting
maybe
on a
right.
bank,
Maybe he's gonna dig them out, lay them on the bank, burn them and then bury what's left, which either way, it's a big hole.
we need clarification on it.
I sent him a message. Yes. So.
And we can get that this week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll have to do it before we.
yeah,
Get clarification.
Obviously, it's not gonna be any higher. It's gonna be cheaper than what's sitting here in front of it because. We just gotta clean 2,900 feet out, bury it, burn and bury everything, reshape that portion and seed it. I don't foresee that. It's not gonna go any higher. It's only gonna be lower, so. Yeah.
so do you want us to go forward with annexation and reclassification, or for right now, not? What input on that?
Either way, you're gonna pay him this fortune to ditch place.
For when I be advantageous to us for reclassifying. That's us,
Sooner or later, it's gonna have to get done.
probably. We'll find it. I don't know what it is.
I'm not against paying for what I've been using, but I don't like the paper stuff that I'm not using or not getting the benefit.
Right.
And that's where reclassification comes
I
in.
know, yeah, exactly.
Does it turn up the cost for that?
We could get a better idea on it, yeah. If we get a total number of acres and then with the history of it, we could probably get a lot closer. But like I said, everything that we've seen is never gone over $5 an acre. It's always seems to be in that 3 to 4. Yeah. And that's multiple different sides. That's anywhere from 3,000 acres to 10,000.
Right. This is not huge. I mean, it's got some lateral, but it's not as big as say it was or.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking back for the last time we did the reclass, which pretty sure was in the 50s. I'm back to the 60s now and I haven't found it.
So if it's done
I was
with
working
50, that's
backwards.
still under the full classification. So,
It just makes it a lot fairer. And then if there is land that needs to be in this drainage district, it gets put in and they start paying their share. I don't know whether it is or not.
I mean, we do have a few laterals broke down. There are a couple classification statements in that one.
oh, Lord, down highway. You might know the thing with the water's going into
Well, he brought up the fact of the land down towards 105. That means,
Well, in this situation, land on for 105, we probably bring it to this regardless. I mean, they would.
No, but I
if it
mean-
was out of the old classification. They'll be paying for this.
Yeah.
As well as somebody that's, whoever's in the district. People could
Past shoulders wasn't a creek, so it's not in this.
Something about that, certain
Yeah.
one.
It's out the 105.
Is it buried?
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that if you look,
Way north there, it's probably.
Well, I know through Bergen's, it's
That
correct.
guy's got that, whatever acres he got in there, that's not it.
It's 1967.
was the last time it was.
And- Right. And that's even probably going in and between them, gets a little bit of question. whether
Yeah.
We're supposed to be in there now.
That's probably why we have so many.
I think it is.
Yes, it is.
I mean, because we do,
Well,
so we
we-
have
we could
laterals 5,
do
6,
it,
and
but
9.
it's- A lot more engineering, a lot more.
For this section, which is
Army Corps of
what's out.
Engineers, to get that permission to, if it's proven that there's needs to be some changes made, but that's a lot of hoops. That could take 2 years in this paperwork just to get that figured out.
The last time it was reclassified was 1967.
1967.
Buried in some.
Name has 67.
The main.
So we do have 3 laterals under this. Lateral 5 is 97 acres. Lateral 6 is 203 acres. And lateral 9 is 105 acres.
So this lateral 9, that's, we're talking about cutting the trees down,
Yeah,
109 acres
105.
and 5. So those 105 acres are gonna pay for this.
So yeah, it looks back in 67.
Depends on what the classification is.
So back in 1967, those lands were
Find that out.
Calgo and Grow.
DD6
So you're gonna pay right to check.
Yeah.
You too.
DD6 Lat 9.
says there's 2,200.
So it was different from this back then.
No, he'd actually probably still take yes if it's under the old schedule, more than likely, everybody in the district.
But acres if we got.
But then you said that it's like 2,000 now. Well, maybe that's not,
Which is supposed to be- He said 6 on the main, and you're probably supposed to be. So,
unless I had more before that year. I might have to go get the older book.
I got 75 yards that. And
Yeah,
Rory's got, I got 100.
Maybe that was just a special assessment on that reclass.
Water's going south. So that's it.
north.
No, it goes up and curves and goes over and dumps into the ditch, doesn't it?
Oh, then it goes down, yeah, it's okay, sorry, yep.
Yeah, half east ditch goes north and
Yeah.
then south. And the
Okay.
west ditch goes south.
Yeah, yeah. You're up and down.
Yeah, you're into the main then.
You know what, I think the main issue on this whole deal here, the trees affect public sunlight for the. Here, but
it's different soils, it's competing ground down there. And some, you have soybeans there, if you work the ground, don't work the ground. It's soil, drifting in and filling the ditch up. And you park too close to the ditch. That's the biggest issue of all this drainage in Worth County. If it's different soil types, and the wrong soil types, it'll fill the ditch up in winter. See a lot of that right now. A lot of that goes through there's a lot of low ground.
On my side of the ditch, it's the bank, the whole bank. Almost the
You
whole
don't have
bank.
winter over there. But
It's
down the line through August, I call it
Just
August,
sloping.
area down there. A lot of PD loose ground that fills the ditch up. And anyway, reason why most people put in open ditch over tile is just knowledge. It's cheaper to put an open ditch in, but it's more maintenance than an open ditch. So it's like you talk paving now, paving later down the line. That's what it boils down to.
He's right. Because the drainage ditch that goes west on Elgison property. We ended up putting 130 feet of filter strip along that ditch. And on the south side, we put a 33-foot filter strip that we really weren't interested in doing. We did it.
But you did it for a
But-
reason, but you
but
have
he-
problems.
He told me then, but I'm not paying any consulting fees either. But it did make a difference on how often that ditch needed to be cleaned because of the wind erosion, the flat, and we get a lot of water from the west coming. And that peat floated and went in the drainage ditch and made it to where that ditch needed to be cleaned more often than a normal drainage ditch. So Gordy is right.
I've got 2 or 3 places. I didn't go run to the government and try to get $2. I just paid for my own, and there's an excuse. You can drive along the ditch and check your tile outlets, see if everything's working. Or if it's corn right up the fence, you, after the corn gets knee high, you don't even look at it again until the combine comes. Fall again. And there's nobody there. It's like, if you're gonna build a house in town, for example, you have zonings. You gotta be so far from the street, so far from your neighbors and all that stuff. You wanna build a little shed. If you, this is something that, this is off the subject, but it's on the subject. A lot of farms now are getting sold off and then they're selling acreage off. You guys should have zoning on acreages. You can't put up, sell acreage off and 4 foot from the lot line, you start putting trees up. In 5 years, the trees hang over on you. And you guys should be able to enact that there on a simple deal, just make a zoning.
Would you want to be on the
The only
zoning
thing wrong about it is, there's getting so many boats out here now that live on them acreages, and they don't want that to happen.
But I agree with you.
Can I get you on the zoning board, Gordy?
Well, there should be zonings on these farms are being sold out. If you go down to the assessor's office, you look at all of them. From Lake Mills to the casino to Northwood, there's only about 4 farmers along the whole line. It's all acreages now. There's nothing against the people at acreages, but it should be zoning. And if you want to come along and they got sewers, they can't hook it up, or they don't want to pay. Zoning would take care of a lot of problems. That's off to somebody here to take your time, but wind erosion is a big thing on maintaining these ditches. And it's not being done. Stuff is done, but not enough of it.
State of Minnesota mandates filter strips. And state of Iowa.
Whatever. That's the filter strips on it.
Well, if you put the filter strip in, you gotta maintain them. Waterways. Waterways are not where the hood unless you go up and mow them to the water runs. Otherwise, the water will come down after a big rain and run on the outside edges, and then you get no good.
You got 2 bellies.
Then you got 2 bellies.
You guys have any other questions?
No, I just we need to check into that. I just decided.
You guys want to hold off on the next station, what you're saying? Classification, I mean?
Hang tight on it, or
Where do you want to go with costs?
maybe do you want to know the cost of it?
I would do that. I guess.
Can we get 'em?
I'd like.
Get a hold of the engineer and get like a rough cost.
Yeah, let's get a rough cost on it.
We can figure out how many acres are in that.
Yep.
Price, per acre. Or further close, yeah, we could get a little closer, we should get that total number.
Do both reclass and annex, so that if there's, you have to do both of them.
Some might go out, some might.
Yeah, then right away. Find out what the cost is and then come back to you with it. So. If you guys don't have any other questions,
So
go ahead.
I got one question on Jerry. He actually has here tree stump removal.
That's what we asked him to bid on.
It sounds like he's removing all of the stumps.
Yes,
and Tree
Yep.
versus removing
versus what?
versus burying.
Oh,
Because he said removal.
I don't think he meant to haul them away.
I doubt if they'll all.
I think he meant removing them from the ground. Maybe we need to clear.
Big difference to. Yeah, they're gonna haul the trees away.
Not.
I guess I didn't take the bid that way. So, I guess we need to know all that's. We need some more clarification on it, so.
Yeah.
I
Good
can get a hold
point.
of- I can get a hold of both of them again and tell them we're only gonna do the chunk with the trees.
Yep.
Tree removal, stumps, reshape that section and then seating.
Yeah, burn and bury.
Yeah, if they're gonna, yes, with the stumps, find out, they'll be burying them here.
Okay.
So,
Burn and bury and.
and we're 25 foot, but you're.
Well, like I say, if they're,
Well, if they're outside there, you let them
Damages.
smoke.
if they got a
Probably pay for it.
50 by 50 spot, they dug a hole and it's your property, then we compensate for spot damage. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And that's work with them. I mean, if there's a certain spot that would maybe work better, if you guys can work to an agreement, hey, bury it here, try to do that, but we can get compensation for that because you're gonna have some damage. You know. Right, and that's, yeah, a good thing to know. If you got tile that, for sure, let them know where that outlet
And
is.
is there, I was to say, there's outlets there, and I don't know if any pipes need to be replaced or not, should be. When you're taking trees out, chances of not damaging one or two.
Maybe we maybe
Pretty
need to
probably.
find out about that from them too.
Do service.
What was that? You said, Jackie?
Yeah, they're pretty good shape.
What's a private cost?
Outlets in. I mean, outlets in.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a private cost.
They're damaged.
If we damage them in the process, that's different.
Because of the project, not because of the. Yeah, I think they just.
They don't-
That's
I think-
I guess we had both.
If there isn't any other discussion, I will take a motion to adjourn. Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming in, gentlemen.
Probably both of them are